taking the upper hand.
So did he play knight? I told you, knight h4. I could even see this when I can't see the board. I am telepathic. Yeah, great. And okay, well, this is okay. So e5 was played, and I mean, I don't know what Harika's doing here. I'll be honest. Bishop c4, bishop e7, d3, all standard stuff. And there's a massive hole on d5 here, so white often plays around that. Knight f6. Now, there's two ways you can play this as white. Wesley's played the more aggressive way with castling. The other way that a lot of players have played this is to go knight d2 here. This is a weird looking maneuver, but it makes a lot of positional sense, because that knight is going to f1 to e3 and then into the outpost. Again, it's a central outpost, a bit like Hikaru's game, where there's one square, the d5 square. You want to put your pieces on that square. So that's the positional approach. But castles is the more aggressive approach. Castles, and now knight g5. And this is an attempt at a direct refutation of black's setup here. You're getting ready for the f-pawn to move. h6 and now f4. Again, this is actually a standard idea. I mean, it might look crazy to people, but once you've seen this idea once, you should remember it. And the point is here, well, okay, white took on f4, but if you do capture this piece, then black can get in serious, serious problems on f7. For example, knight to, well, h7 is asking for it, but e8 probably just as bad, because you're going g6 here, and it's probably just game over here, I'd imagine, at some point. Maybe even queen h5 first, but this kind of idea with immediate disaster going on there.
Also immediate disaster on h7 after queen h5.
Queen h5 as well, yeah. Yeah, so pawn takes f4, and now the knight comes back, and you get kind of a king's gambit position here. But black's played this rather ugly c5 move. Bishop d6. Now, this looks it's quite a greedy move, because now knight h4, and the bishop has gone back to b8. Because that knight is certainly considering coming into f5 here, and just on the surface of this, it looks very risky for black.
Does look very ugly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you love the Grand Prix, and this is very similar, isn't it?
It is similar, yes.
Yeah. So, what can white do here? White can do a lot of things. I mean, I guess Harika's idea is if knight to f5, she's going to play something with d5. That must be her idea. To try, you can't let that knight sit on f5 for a long duration. You've got to try eliminate it. So that must be the main idea that Harika has here. I mean, there's the other idea. If you go bishop takes f4, just getting your pawn back, is Harika really going to go bishop takes bishop and g5? I mean, I don't know. Even maybe.
I'm wondering, I was wondering if I could go knight f5, but it might be a bit too much, because my queen doesn't really have any squares to come in.
Yeah. Maybe black can get away with this. Maybe. Yeah.
It looks very... Maybe I can... I was wondering if I could just take on f6, play knight d5. I have a lot of pieces.
You do, yeah. I thought there's a check though. You probably have to move this knight first.
Yeah.
Okay. You can go knight f5 now.
Yep.
Actually, because if d5, I take with the knight now and I cover this square, and the queen's coming
and
over.
We're just an exchange down. I think this is looking quite promising for us.
Yeah, this is. I like this. Yeah, really good active play here. With as you
especially after knight d5, you can't go to g6 because of knight e7.
Bang.
So I like this forward.
I like it a lot as well. And you got this queen coming to h5 as well. Black can't go queen g6 because you just take it because of the pin on the f pawn. So yeah, this might be the way to play. Yeah, good plan. Okay. Well,
so what did she do?
We're waiting for Wesley's move here. After bishop to b8, we're just waiting to see what Wesley will play here. There's probably other options, of course. Well, you know, and Harika looking fairly confident though by walking around, you know, and she's got her chocolate bar there, energy, and we'll come back to this one actually a bit later on.
So let's go to Arkady Naiditsch. We didn't look at his game yesterday at all. There's so many good games here that it's hard to cover all of them. He's on board 8 and he's playing position earlier.
Let's see if Wesley went for your idea. So where are you, Wesley? At the top. Okay. And Right, so the last position we did have was after bishop b8, and we were considering just bishop takes pawn here, weren't we, with some sacrifice, looked quite promising. Instead, Wesley's gone for knight g6, and that is a very simple way of playing the position in actual fact, because with this move, you're threatening the rook, and you're threatening to just win your pawn back. If you win the pawn back, you must be a lot better with your open f-file. And Harika had now played a good aggressive move, and I think she needs to. She now goes d5 because the bishop is stopping that f-pawn from taking. So she's gone d5, and this enters quite a forced variation, because if Wesley takes the rook, Harika will take the bishop, and that knight is now trapped. So this will be very good for Harika. Instead, Wesley's taken on d5. Now Harika's got rid of that pesky knight. Wesley's taken on c6 with check. That king sidesteps to quite a safe-looking square. And now bishop takes f4. So materialistically...
White is a pawn up, but then black can just take on c6. If she so wishes...
Well, the first question is, what's wrong with queen take the d4 check? I mean, is this is the first move. We need to just... let's... go for this Patsy check idea again. I think there's always a knight e2, so it doesn't work. But this check is increasing the pressure on f4. And if king h1, then you could try bishop takes bishop, winning a piece. But I think knight e2 holds things together here. I think. Well, it must do, otherwise Wesley will be lost. And you can see Hikaru there looking at the game in the background.
I was just wondering if I can play something like queen e3 followed by knight g4, but...
So here, I guess...
You could even maybe throw in rook f3, I'm not sure.
Rook f3, that could be a nice move to throw in to try to kick that queen away.
Yeah, no, okay. That seems fine after knight e2.
Probably, yeah, maybe because queen d4 check is the wrong plan. What other plans can you play then? I mean, it's a very complex position, because let's say I play like a cowboy.
But also Harika is now half an hour up on the clock.
As well, yeah. I mean, this is a real cowboy move, crazy cowboy move, knight g4. What about this? And I don't think it gets anywhere, but my idea is if you go bishop takes bishop, now I go check. And hello, I have at least a draw here, don't I? King h1. Yeah, maybe cowgirl is better than cowboy. I don't think I should probably call her a cowboy.
Isn't it just winning? You just take on f1 and knight f2?
I'll take here, knight f2, check, king g1.
And now we have the knight... Oh no, there's no smothered.
No, not quite the smother mate one.
Almost.
Almost, yeah. I mean, maybe, okay, so, I mean, you probably
at least a draw.
Well, let's see if white can give the queen. Because white's got two minor pieces and a really weird move in c7. I mean, what on earth is happening there? What is that?
What is that?
What is that? Trapping the rook on a8, but trapping the bishop there? What is that position? I've never seen a position like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess in the worst case I can play queen f4 and rook takes b8, right?
Well, I've got knight d5, so your queen is going to get hit a bit. I mean, this is just weird.
This is weird.
This is just weird of the weirdville, wherever that is. Somewhere.
Maybe I can... I know, I can't do that either.
I mean, you've got two pieces, haven't you, for the queen?
Yeah, but my rook isn't going anywhere, because I wanted to play a5 and rook a6, but I can't.
Well, I think you can go here. Can you go... Oh, I'm trying to get weirder. I want to go bishop h3 and get a perpetual if I'm Harika, I'm happy with draw. I don't know. This is just how do you assess this position? You can't. Okay, so very interesting.
Very interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think this could be an upset here, or
I think there is an upset on the cards.
There could be, yeah. And should we go to Nakamura now?
Yeah,
Hikaru?
let's go to Hikaru.
This potential draw. And I don't think Wesley looks so happy there, does he? It's hard to say. So
I think so is very hard to read.
Very hard to read, yeah. He's very determined.
Doesn't show too many emotions. But if I had to venture a guess, I would say he's not as happy as Hikaru. And her reports are always well worth reading.
Yes, yeah, she's a great photographer.
Yeah.
And we have Leonard here as well, who's also a good photographer I've seen. So yeah, one of his many skills. So
a man of many talents.
A man of many talents, yeah. How do you move the pieces, Leonard? Are you? No.
Are you?
We'll ask you in the break. Okay.
So what's been going on?
Okay, so it's gone the way we thought it may go, and Harika, I think, you know, if you draw with black against a player as strong as Wesley So, that's a great result. So she's gone.
So she did spend 50 minutes on this move.
Yeah.
Knight g4.
And now Wesley has to really take on b8, and
he took very quickly, but it's very likely he did think about this on her time, on the time she spent on knight g4.
Yeah. And now the question we're wondering is this queen d4, is this going to be a draw, or is Wesley going to really take some very big risks? Queen d4 check. I'd say I'm quite impressed with the way Harika's played this. You know, she's played aggressively. She hasn't just, again, sat back like a lot of people did yesterday. She's played actively and aggressively. Has she, what's she played? Oh no, she hasn't played a move yet. So queen d4 check. And the critical line we're looking at was king h1. And now, well, rook takes f1, queen takes f1, knight to f2 check. And if white wants to avoid a draw, and of course Wesley will try to think of everything to avoid the draw, he has to take the knight, because if you move the king, it's just a draw. The knight goes back, check. Well, you could even do some other things as well, but this is just a draw. So in this position, if Wesley wants to win, then we could by force get this variation. Queen takes f2, queen takes f2, and now, well, I was considering the move c7 here with a really weird I mean, that's the only way to describe this position, isn't it? It's just weird. It's just absolutely bonkers. You go c7, you trap the rook.
And now you were even looking at bishop h3.
And I was even looking at, and I was thinking, now can Harika force a draw with bishop h3? Because if she can force a draw, then Wesley shouldn't go into
look at the crowd around the board.
Yeah.
I mean, this has to be one of the. We see Julio Granda, one of my all-time favorite players. He's such a legend of the game.
He is, from Peru, yeah?
Yeah, I was devastated. Did you see he got to a live rating of 2699.3?
Oh, really?
And then
he should have played me.
He should have
that would have guaranteed him to get a point or two.
And then he didn't have the best of summers, I believe, but one of the few players, what's very interesting about him is he doesn't use computers so much.
Right.
Like, he doesn't follow modern theory, but he's just such a talented, such a gifted player.
Yeah.
And a lovely, very down-to-earth, very kind man.
Yeah.
A great football player as well, I should say.
Really?
Yeah.
Right,
Saw him play in Reykjavik.
Okay.
Very impressive stuff.
Okay, good stuff.
We should have a look at one of his games someday as well, but let's stick with this one now.
I mean, I was just wondering here, in this forced variation, where if Wesley plays for a win, does bishop h3 force a draw? Because if this forces a draw by perpetual, then Wesley will have to take the draw before this, if you see what I mean. There's no point giving your opponent the option of doing this. Well, to start with, I don't think it does, because Wesley can always play bishop d5, worst case scenario. Can always play this. And this is, okay, so we see this happening. We can see this line occurring as we go. And c7 is, would you play this position on? I mean, you've got two pieces for the queen, you've only got a bishop and knight for the queen, you're taking risks by playing this on. Would you play this on? Would you take this risk, do you think, Fiona? Do you think this is instinctively worth it for white? Does white have enough compensation? I kind of doubt it here, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be very interested to see this position being played.
We're getting there. We're actually getting there. Yeah. We can see on the board.
Unless he does just, unless Wesley So admits this opening, this game has gone slightly wrong, and he just goes for the draw.
It's funny because I was saying earlier.
I mean, if he sees this position we have on our analysis board, and he reckons he might be seriously worse, then he will settle for a draw. I don't think Wesley So is a player to take too much risk.
Yeah, no. And I mean, earlier I was saying that Wesley had a great opening, but that's not looking so true now. And I'm still trying to assess this potential position after c7. I'm just finding it very hard. I mean, I guess black can just start taking pawns here. And I think in order, if Wesley does want to gamble, he could go for this, but I'm kind of starting to feel that it's a load of rubbish for white, to be honest, because I'm not sure how white is going to generate good play here with these free pieces. So we see this happening. So we'll just stick with this a little bit more. I would love to see if Wesley's going to do this. So at the moment, we'll go back to the game. So we have rook takes f1, queen takes f1. It's Harika to play here. Harika has gone knight to f2 check. So Wesley now has to decide, does Wesley take the draw? I don't think Harika can play for more than a draw here. I think it's only a draw, and she's got up from the board looking quite confident. So is it a repetition now, or does Wesley roll the dice and go queen takes knight? And rolling the dice is going to, any result could then be possible. We could even lose this one.
And it's also worth mentioning, and first of all, look at the crowd here on camera.
Yeah.
Very interesting game, and it's worth mentioning Wesley scored a few decisive points in Baku while having a cold, so a very resilient player, but still, I think if he assesses the position after queen takes f2, queen takes, to be worse for him.
He'll take the draw.
I guess he'll take the draw.
Yeah, because Harika's no mug.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she's an incredibly strong player. You can't, she's a really good grandmaster. So if you think you're going to be worse, you take the draw. You don't gamble too much because you'll lose. She'll beat you. Have you ever played anyone with a cold before? I mean, I've had this before. I mean, it's horrible when you've got a cold and you have to play chess. Because it's also horrible when you play someone who's like, basically Niagara Falls is coming out their nose, and you've got to do something about it. It's not pleasant. But okay, we can even see Mike Klein there. Let's come back to this one a little bit later, I think, because we're going to wait and see. Well,
I thought he was about to move.
I would imagine he will spend a lot of time deciding whether to take that knight or not. It's not something you do quickly, because you probably realising you're rolling the dice.
Yeah, but I think he's seen this position coming up ever since Harika spent all this time on knight g4. I think already at that point he saw this position.
Yeah. Be interesting to know what people at home think about this position. Do you think Wesley will take the draw here, or do you think Wesley will sacrifice the queen for two minor pieces? What will Wesley do? Will he take the draw, or will he gamble? You think he'll gamble? Okay, well, we have Harry. There's another idea here I've just thought of. If you go queen takes f2, and now instead of c7, can you play bishop g3, queen takes here? I think this is too slow. I wanted to play bishop d5. But as queen takes b2, I mean, just about in time. Queen takes b2 saves this.
What if you play bishop d5 immediately?
I think just rook takes bishop. If bishop d5.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I got to get that one out of dodge. Get it out of dodge first.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll wait and see, and let's move on to another game now. And so where
let's go back to Najditch. We saw his game earlier. He was following the footsteps